The spaceport on Kari Station never truly slept. Its artificial lights burned constantly, casting pale reflections across metal walkways stained by decades of traffic from 100 different species. Cargo haulers roared in and out, merchants shouted prices in half a dozen languages, and security drones hovered overhead, indifferent to everything except open violence. I was just passing through. My contract was simple: deliver a shipment of medical processors, refuel, and leave. Karis wasn't a place humans stayed long. The station had a reputation: legal gray zones, species hierarchies, and an unspoken rule that if someone fell through the cracks, no one picked them up. That was when I saw her. She was curled near the outer wall of the commercial ring, half hidden behind a stack of abandoned crates. Her body was thin, far too thin for her species. I recognized her kind immediately: Virelian. Tall, long-limbed, soft bioluminescent patterns along the skin that normally glowed faint blue. Hers were dark. First I thought she was dead. People walked past her without slowing. Some glanced briefly, then looked away. A pair of dockworkers laughed as they stepped over her outstretched leg. One even nudged her with a boot, just enough to see if she'd move. She didn't. Stop. That alone felt like an act of rebellion. I knelt beside her, ignoring the stares. Her breathing was shallow, almost imperceptible. Her eyes fluttered open at the movement, pupils dilated with fear and exhaustion. When she focused on me, her entire body tensed. I understood immediately. To her, I wasn't a rescuer. I was a predator. "Hey," I said softly, keeping my hands visible. "I'm not here to hurt you." My translator hummed, converting my words. Her throat tightened, and she whispered something back, barely audible. "Please, just make it quick." That hit harder than any battlefield ever had. I scanned her vitals with my wrist unit. Severe malnutrition, dehydration, cellular degradation from prolonged starvation. She wasn't dying. She was already being abandoned. "Why hasn't anyone helped you?" I asked. A bitter, humorless sound escaped her. "I was property. Then I wasn't useful. So they released me." She swallowed. Release sounds kinder than it is. I knew what that meant. Contract servitude without legal protection. Dumped when she could no longer work. Left to die where it wouldn't inconvenience anyone. I offered her a ration pack. She stared at it like it might be a trick. "You can eat," I said. "I won't take it back." Her hand shook as she accepted it. She ate slowly, painfully aware of every movement I made, every shift of my posture. I stayed exactly where I was, silent, letting her control the space. When she finished, her bioluminescent markings flickered weakly, faint blue light returning to her skin like the first hint of dawn. "What's your name?" I asked. She hesitated. "Sayla." "I'm Daniel," I said. "And you're coming with me." Fear surged instantly. "I won't survive another contract," she said. "Please. I'd rather die free." I shook my head. "I'm not buying you. I'm inviting you." That confused her more than anything else. I took her to my ship, Wayfarer, ignoring station security's disinterested looks. No one stopped me. No one cared. The med bay confirmed what my scanner had already told me. Another few days without food or proper care, and Sayla wouldn't have made it. For the first 2 days she barely spoke. She flinched whenever I approached, even to adjust medical equipment. When I left the room, she watched the door like she expected me not to return. I made a point of returning. I brought her meals on a regular schedule. Explained every action before doing it. Never touched her unless she explicitly agreed. Trust didn't come quickly, but it came. On the 3rd day, She finally asked the question I knew had been burning in her. "Why?" she said. "Why help me?" I considered that. Because leaving you there was wrong. And because someone should have helped you sooner. Her glow brightened slightly. Humans are different than what they say. They say a lot of things about us, I replied. Most of them aren't true. As her strength returned, so did her presence. Sayla wasn't weak, she had been starved. Her mind was sharp, her observational skills remarkable. She noticed subtle fluctuations in ship systems I'd overlooked for years. "You fly like you expect trouble," she said once. "Experience," I answered. She nodded. "Then you'll need warning." That warning came sooner than expected. 3 days after leaving Kari Station, we were intercepted. Pirates, well-armed, confident, and clearly expecting an easy target. Their leader hailed me, eyes flicking briefly to Sayla standing behind me on the bridge. "Hand over the cargo," he said. "And the Virelian. We'll leave you alive." Sayla froze. I didn't. "She's not cargo," I said flatly. "And you're not getting anything." The pirate laughed. Weapons charged. Sayla stepped forward before I could stop her. Her bioluminescence flared bright, brighter than I'd ever seen. Patterns raced across her skin in complex sequences. "She's calling for help," I realized. The pirate sneered. "No one's listening." He was wrong. Virelians weren't weak. They were patient. A nearby patrol, one that normally ignored human distress calls, altered course instantly. Virelian signals carried weight. Within minutes, the pirates were fleeing or disabled. When the patrol commander boarded my ship, he looked from Sayla to me with open astonishment. "You took her in?" he asked. "I invited her," I corrected. That mattered. Under Virelian law, an invitation given freely, without coercion, purchase, or obligation, created sanctuary. Sayla was no longer unclaimed. She was protected. The patrol escorted us to Virelian space. I expected paperwork, interrogation, maybe suspicion. Instead, we were welcomed. Elders met us in a hall filled with soft blue light. They listened as Sayla told her story, of starvation, mockery, abandonment. And then she told them about me. About the human who stopped, who fed her, who invited her instead of owning her. One of the elders turned to me. "Do you understand what you've done?" "I saved a life," I said. The elder inclined his head. "You restored faith." Sayla stepped beside me, her glow steady and strong now. "By our traditions," she said quietly, "a life freely saved creates a bond of choice. I choose to remain with him." Silence followed. Then acceptance. Sayla wasn't my responsibility. She was my partner, by her will, not obligation. Months passed. The Wayfarer became a different ship. Sayla assisted in navigation, diplomacy, and cultural mediation. Where humans were blunt, she was perceptive. Where she hesitated, I stood firm. Together we were stronger. News spread. On stations where aliens once starved unseen, humans were suddenly watched. Curiously, cautiously. Invitations replaced contracts. Aid replaced indifference. One human had changed nothing. And everything. One evening, as we drifted past a luminous nebula, Sayla stood beside me on the bridge. "I thought you would eat me," she said softly. "Or sell me. Or leave me." "I know," I replied. She looked up at me, bioluminescence glowing warm and steady. "Instead, you respected my life." I smiled faintly. "That shouldn't be rare." She shook her head. "But it is. Which is why it matters." Out there, the galaxy was still cruel. Still unfair. still full of places like Kari Station. But sometimes all it took to change a fate was one human who refused to walk past.